We are starting week 5. We are going to continue on with the avenues to learning. As you can see here in the week 5 folder, you will have several different reading activities to do with some activities that go along with them. So you're going to cover using your learning preferences. And here under activity for learning preferences, I'm going to go ahead and click on it and just briefly go over it. You're going to be taking a VARC learning style assessment. So you're going to want to click on this link and go to the learning assessment that you'll find there. You'll go ahead and answer all the questions, and then you're going to submit it, and then you will actually get a readout of your learning style, and you're going to see that there will be higher scores in certain areas. There's 4 areas of the VARC learning style. There is the read-write, kinesthetic, there is the one for, oral for audio, like if you prefer hearing things when you're learning, and then there's also the visual. And you're going to see after you answer all the questions, you're going to see a score under each one of those 4 areas, and you're going to basically be able to see where your higher scores are. That's going to be your preferred learning style. So for example, if you're sitting in a lecture in the class and you prefer to hear the information that the professor is speaking and you learn better like that because you actually remember the information better, that's just a good indication that you are the type of person that can hear information and it sticks with you better. And a lot of students, to basically be able to learn better in a class and actually be able to study better. A lot of students, at least I've had a lot of students when I was teaching face-to-face classes there at Rose, they would come in and they would ask if it was okay if they could audio record the lecture so that way later on they could listen to it because they learn better that way and they kind of already knew their learning style and they knew that that was something that would be helpful to them. And then you have students that prefer, they're more visual, they like the PowerPoints, they like to be able to actually see the visual information, or they may even like things like maps and they like to actually be able to visually see how things connect together. And then you have other students that are kinesthetic, that they prefer hands-on activities. They like to actually be doing something. But even if you're in a class that you can't technically be hands-on, like a chemistry class where you're in a chemistry lab and you're actually able to put chemicals together and you're doing different things, even if you're in a regular lecture class, even something as simple as writing down notes, even if you typically don't take notes, if you're writing down notes and you're physically doing something, it's still kinesthetic and learning because you're actually physically doing something. It's making you have to hear what the professor is saying. You're having to write down information, and the physical act of writing things down is just a kinesthetic way of learning. So it's always good to take assessments like this. Even if you generally know what your learning style is, it's always good to take assessments like this because as you will see in the reading that came before this, there are a lot of different techniques that you can find that could be helpful for studying, that could be helpful for just being able in general to learn better because you understand your learning preference much better when you do an assessment like this. And one thing I will say, when you take this assessment, each question that there's not just one right answer. So if you're reading one of the questions on the VARC learning style assessment and you see that maybe 3 of the answers pertain to you, you're going to click on all 3. You're not just going to necessarily have to click on one. If only one of them applies to you, then you would only click on one. But if they give you several different options for an answer and there's more than one that applies to you, you're going to click on every single one that applies to you. If you're reading one of the questions and none of them apply to you, then you basically leave it blank. But just be aware of that you're able to click on as many of them that describes you. So don't just limit yourself to just clicking on one, because if there's more than one that describes you, you're going to click on as many of the answers as basically pertains to you. And then you're going to finish the assessment, submit it, and then you'll see the readout there. So what I am asking you for here is what you're going to be typing in when you're completing the assignment is after you take the VARC learning style assessment, you're going to follow the directions here. You're going to see some questions right here that you're going to be answering. And then basically I'm asking you to write a short paragraph where you describe what you've discovered about your learning preferences, also considering how you answered number 2 and number 3. So you're going to answer these first, and then you're going to write this short paragraph. And you need to try to write at least 5 sentences using proper grammar and punctuation, and then you're going to submit that. And that way I can see, you're going to want to basically indicate to me what your scores were, what your high scores were, and you're going to answer these questions and then write your paragraph as your assignment. And it's really a good way for you to kind of be able to analyze yourself, because if you already knew some about your learning style and maybe it doesn't surprise you what you got on the learning style assessment, it gives you a chance to really discuss that when you're answering this in your answer when you submit that. So that's what you're going to be doing concerning learning preferences. And now we're going to go back here. I'm going to wait for everything to load up. And then we are covering collaboration and diversity, which you guys have already done a group project. So you have already had to deal with some collaboration, and obviously everyone in your groups were diverse. Everybody had different backgrounds. You guys really discussed it well when you were kind of not interviewing each other, but when you were giving each other information, you were getting to see different lives, different ways that people have gotten to the point that they got to where they're here at Rose. And diversity is awesome in a way, because yes, sometimes it causes people to have issues because they don't understand other people, or they don't understand why people do the things that they do. But it's also really good when you think about it, because you're getting different perspectives. You're getting to learn about things and ways that other people see things that you maybe never even thought of before. And that's what's great about college, is that you're basically put into situations where you're just in a diverse culture, where you're basically able to learn from multiple perspectives. And so we kind of cover that when you do the reading here over collaboration and diversity. And then you'll have the reading over the individual, and you'll have an activity over that. It's just a reflection post that you're going to be doing. And then you have a specific reading over collaborating, which is kind of like group work, things like that, where you actually have to collaborate with other individuals in order to meet an end goal. And you're going to have an activity for collaborating, which is another reflection post. And then one thing that we're going to be doing for this week is another assessment, and it's called the Student Success Profile. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that just so you're aware of what you need to click on and what you need to go to. So this is something that our Career Center on campus has students do. It's actually an assessment that sometimes when students will come into the Career Center because they want to learn a little bit more about themselves, maybe students that aren't 100% sure what they want to do for either their major or their career. The Career Center has a lot of different assessments that you can go in there. They can have you do these different assessments, and there's counselors there that can actually speak over all of your results, and they can kind of go over all of the things after you've taken these tests to really kind of dive into what things you're interested in, what things you're passionate about, things like that. So, I mean, if that's something that you're interested in because maybe you haven't 100% picked out a major yet, that's a good place to go, the Career Center on campus. But this is one of the assessments that they do at the Career Center, and we do that in this class because there are a lot of students that, even though they may know what their major is, they know what they want to go into, it's still a really good assessment because it speaks more of not just about what it is that you're interested in. It really goes into subjects like growth mindset. It really delves into your personality, things about yourself that will make you good for certain kind of jobs, and things like that. And you'll see once you take the assessment and you get your results at the end, you'll see that it's very detailed. And you will notice that when you answer the questions, some of the questions are kind of odd, and maybe the results that you get are not going to be something that you 100% agree with. And that may just be because of the questions and how you answer them, because maybe you might not have understood the question fully, or just the question itself was something kind of odd. But when you go and click on this link to take the Student Success Profile, you're going to want to go ahead and try to answer every single question, because it's going to give you a better look at your end results if you answer all of the questions and not skip questions. Some of them will be kind of odd. I've taken the Student Success Profile myself, and some of them are kind of odd, but I did find when I got my results at the end, most of it was pretty spot on. But there's always sometimes that there's some students that say it really wasn't spot on. And it could be for various reasons. It could just be with the questions. It could be how they're answered. But most of the time, I'd probably say about 75% of my students very much agreed with the answers that they got on these assessments. So just, kind of go at it with a very positive attitude. Some people get kind of nervous whenever they have to take an assessment and they have to read information about themselves because they maybe don't agree with it, or maybe it's something that they don't actually want to see about themselves. And so sometimes it's kind of sensitive, but it's giving you a chance to take one of these random assessments that's going to kind of delve into your personality, things about yourself, the ways that you answer these questions, and then you're going to basically have a reflection exercise to do based off of this student success profile after you take it. So what you're going to do is click on the link. It's going to take you to something that's called the Vita Navis website. If you've never taken an assessment on there for any of your other classes, or if you've never been to the Career Center and had to sign up for it, you're going to have to sign up for an account. And then once you sign up, it's going to let you go in. You can click on the student success profile, and then you're going to go ahead and take the assessment. It is a little bit lengthy. It can take anywhere from like 20 to 30 minutes to do. It's not hard. It just has a lot of questions because it's very detailed. So you'll go through, answer all of the questions the best that you can. Like I said, there's going to be some odd questions on there, but just answer it the best that you can. And then you're going to click submit, and you're going to see your results page. And it's going to have several pages that have different sections that are explaining different things like growth mindset. And there's several other sections I just can't remember off the top of my head, but you're going to want to read through your results, because when you answer the reflection exercise, you need to use that information that you read about yourself on the results that you got in order to basically answer that reflection exercise thoroughly, where you're going to get points for it. Because you're going to miss points if you're kind of guessing at what I'm trying to get out of you. You need to actually answer based off of the information that you got from your results from the assessment. So make sure you read through all of them after you submit it and you get your results page. What you're going to do for this particular part, when you get to your results page, you need to take a screenshot of the first page of your results page so I can see that you completed the assessment and I can see the first basic page of your results. So it's just a screenshot, a picture basically, and you're going to upload that, and that is going to be your points for this particular part of the assignment. And then when we go back, once this all is done uploading here, so then when we go back, oh no, went too far. There we go. So once you go back, after you have uploaded your screenshot of the first page of your results, you're going to go to the student success profile reflection. And what you are going to see, I'm not clicking on it very well. There we go. So what you're going to see is you're going to have a Microsoft Word document that you have to open. So when you click on that, if you click on this little preview here, if for some reason you don't have the ability to open a Microsoft Word document or download it to your computer, you should still be able to view it on Canvas if you click on the icon here. So you can at least view it and copy it, and then you can put it in the text entry box if you can't actually save it to your computer as a Microsoft Word document. So click on that, and you're going to see that there's going to be several questions, and they're asking you specific information about different sections of your student success profile, and it's asking you to analyze your results. So be thorough. I'm not looking for just a couple of words of you saying, yes, I agree, or no, I don't. I want you to actually read your results, look at the questions, and analyze based off of the question what your results said, whether you agree with it, because there's going to be some questions that are asking, do you agree with it? What are you most confident about now that you've taken this assessment as far as your educational goals or other goals? And it's asking you to be thorough. So please be thorough with this. Don't give me just short little questions or short little answers. I want you to be thorough and really analyze what results you got, because you may not agree with all of them, but you need to explain to me why. So if there's a question that's asking you based off your results, do you agree with them? Do you feel like it was accurate? Things like that. You need to explain why, not just say, no, I don't agree. I want to know why. I want to know why based off of what you know about yourself and then what the results said, why you think it's not accurate. So please be thorough. Otherwise, that is a way that you are going to miss points on this exercise. But it's pretty simple. So you can either download this to your computer, because it's basically a Microsoft Word document, and you can answer the questions on the actual document, save it, and then basically re-upload it with your answers on it. Or you can open this up as from the icon here, where you can actually just preview it on Canvas, and then you can copy it and then just paste it into the text entry box and then just answer the questions right there on it. It's best if you can keep the questions with your answers, if you can do it that way, just so I can see the question. It's easier for me to grade because it is pretty lengthy and it has a lot of details. So either download this to your computer and then answer the questions on the actual document and then re-upload it with your answers, or click on the preview here, copy it, put it in the text entry box, and then answer the questions that way. If you can separate your answers from the questions too, where it's very clear where your answer is, that's easier too, because sometimes I'm having to read through it to find where your answer actually starts with some of the other exercises that we've done. But, I'm going to try not to be too picky about that, but I'm just asking for a little help because it helps me grade quicker and I'm able to actually find answers better that way. But anyway, it's a really good assessment. Just try to be positive with it. I know some people don't like taking assessments like this. It can be kind of harsh sometimes because there are some things that people see about themselves and they don't really like that they see that. But I've had some students that really have dug deep and they go, okay, I don't really like what it said about my personality or, just the way that I do things. But then they really just sat there and thought, okay, this is probably something that I do, and this is a way that I'm going to try to improve that so I can try to be better. And, you just have to try to go at it with a positive attitude. It doesn't mean to say that there's going to be some things that you really aren't going to agree with, and that's okay too. But, just make sure you're explaining that to me when you're answering this reflective exercise. And there is a survey at the very end of it. You don't have to complete the survey. You just need to answer the reflective exercise questions. This is something that the Career Center put together, and they did have a survey on it before that students used to have to take, but you don't have to worry about the survey that's on the very last page of it. Don't worry about that. And that is pretty much it for this week. I'm going to go ahead and click back over here into our week 5 folder. And then you will, of course, see the health and wellness bonus points at the bottom here. I haven't added it yet. I'm still kind of building everything for our week, but you'll see that as well if you are wanting to do the health and wellness bonus points. And other than that, that is pretty much it for this week. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and shoot me an email. But other than that, I will see you all next week for week 6.